G'day mates, my name is Miles. I am trans. I identify as trans mass non-binary. I go by he, him or they, them pronouns. What I'm going to talk about in this video is more about my experience with gender. It's not really meant to invalidate anybody else's experience. It's about how I see my own gender, how I see non-binary for me, and how I see my fluidity between boy and non-binary. I think it's important to have representation out in the world. I think it's important to see people who are like you. When I was growing up, I don't think I didn't know what trans was. It wasn't until I was in my 20s that I met any trans people, and it took me a long time to realize who I was because of that. And even if it helps just one person or realize who they are, or if it just gives somebody just some help along the way, it's it's really more for me than anything, but it's for me as a child and what I would have wanted to be able to see. Dysphoria for me comes in a lot of different things. I have a lot of voice dysphoria. It for me, hearing my voice even while I'm speaking can be quite grating on my ears, and it's I know it's dysphoria because want to rip my eardrums out, and that's a little bit extreme for just not liking the way you sound. I have top dysphoria. I get a lot. It's kind of I don't feel like it's part of me. It just feels like skin that's there, but it's not supposed to be there, and it's just kind of it's very weird to have these really heavy things on you that you have to wear something to hold them up to make sure they're out of the way, and they just don't feel like they're me. And it's I don't think dehumanizing is the correct word. It's just desensitive. I don't know the exact word. Basically, if I stand in the mirror and I look at them, they're a foreign object. It's not supposed to be there. It would be like waking up and one of your fingers is robotic. It's still like, it's there, it functions, but it's not right. It's not supposed to be there. And I do also get bottom dysphoria. I get a lot of dysphoria about periods. Like, getting one is horrible for me. I hate it a lot. It's always been an issue, and I always just thought, oh, that's how you're supposed to feel when you go through that, but talking with a lot of other people, I really have realized that it is dysphoria that, makes it so bad for me. I've started these videos because I just started taking testosterone, and it's kind of going to be video documentation of my journey through this. For me, tea is about lowering my voice, getting an Adam's apple, some hair on my face. I'm really hoping I don't want anything big. I just want just some, like a 5 o'clock shadow, just a little bit there. And another big thing is it can help prevent periods. It is not a form of birth control. If you are still going to have sex, consentingly, use condoms, you know, talk with your doctor about this. You want to keep safe, especially if that is a fear. Because for some people who are trans, who are transitioning female to male, you know, feminine to masculine, pregnancy is scary and you don't want it to happen. So look after yourself. In life, I feel like labeling things can be important. It's not the be all and end all. For me, I used to hold the label lesbian, and now I don't. That's uncomfortable for me. And the wonderful thing about labels is you can just peel them off and put on a new one. Now, I identify as gender-wise as trans-masculine non-binary. For me, that means that I feel on the boy end of things. If we look at like a sliding scale, more on the boy, I feel no femininity. Not really. It's kind of this other. And with my dysphoria, there comes a lot of things with that. Like, I choose only to wear masculine clothes. I feel very uncomfortable wearing anything that I consider feminine. But I also think that once I've gone through more of my transition, once I've had top surgery, I feel like I will feel more comfortable exploring a little bit more. But for now, to help me feel comfortable, I wear traditionally masculine clothes. While this video is, for me, it's also another form of representation. Representation that is sorely lacking in this world for kids who they may see something in me that feels like them and they're not sure why, but it helps them question, and questioning yourself is good. Like, whether that be your gender, your sexuality, your religion, your politics, constantly questioning who you are, even if that just affirms who you are, is good, and that's how you get growth throughout your life. Uh, when I was a kid, there wasn't really much representation. You know, I grew up the late 90s, early 2000s, so they were starting to show gay people, but I had never really heard of trans people before until my late teens, early 20s. And so if I had had that representation, I might have realized earlier and transitioned sooner. But again, I don't really know what would have happened. I'm happy that I've realized who I am so I can get onto that transition. But I'm also acutely aware of the fact that I'm 28, and that's a bit old by some people's standards to transition. But at the same time, there are people in their 50s and 60s transitioning. So I'm working through with myself feeling inadequate that I didn't realize as soon as I liked something that was masculine as a kid. And, you know, you get labels of tomboy and, you know, just one of the guys that, you know, just seen as a lesbian type thing that kind of put me a couple of steps back with figuring out who I was. Okay, so a few people in the trans community that I admire. So you've got Laverne Cox, awesome woman, love her. She's just at the top of her field, you know, trans person of color, and she's just really striving to just help and be part of the queer community, a positive influence. I also love Theo Germain. They're awesome. They are a non-binary person. Um, I think they're also transmasculine. They were in a show that I watched called Work in Progress. They were amazing in it. I styled my hair after theirs. On the YouTube side of things, Jemmy Dodger, he's pretty cool. He's who I first really saw. That was, you know, a YouTuber who was trans, and I was obsessed with him for a long time. And it took me, I think, at least a year from what first starting to watch his journey and all that until I realized that I was also trans. And then off of him, I also watched No Offense, who was also pretty cool. And there are others as well, but it's just going to be a long list, guys. No, I admire all of these people because they have put themselves out there. They're not afraid to show that they're trans. They're not afraid to give some information about it. Especially, you know, Jamie Dodger and No Offense, because they're on the platform here where most of their channel is talking about their transition, which is a deeply personal thing. And, you know, as one FDM to another, like, I applaud their just guts to do that. A great friend of mine died recently. He was the one who encouraged me to make these videos. In fact, the last conversation we had was actually about these, and I want to dedicate this to him. Adam, thank you for pushing me, and you are very missed, not just by me, but by your wife and children. And I suppose with that, there's no better place to end than here. So thank you for watching, and I hope this was of some use to somebody. Alright, bye guys.